Good morning, everyone. Sorry I was late by about 2 minutes. I was trying to fix my camera because today I am using my iPad as I am waiting for uh, my courier's call using my phone. So I will be using my iPad for this class. And do come in. Welcome to this live class. Let's just wait for others to join us. We'll start in 3 minutes. So we'll start at exactly 9:05 in my watch. Okay? So what you're seeing is my workspace. Okay? So while we are waiting for others, let's just go over the materials that we will be using for this class. Again, today we will be painting the beach, okay, the ocean. It's my favorite subject for painting. Okay, let me just adjust my camera. I hope that the camera is doing. From your view, let me know if it's reversed somehow. I hope it's not because I'm using my iPad for the first time for our live session. Okay, so let's just go over the materials that we will be using for this class. Again, we will be painting the ocean. Okay, so what we will need for this class is, of course, the watercolors, my favorite medium. So we'll use ultramarine blue or whatever blue you have in your palette. I have here viridian green, so use green that you have in your palette. Yellow ochre. Okay, I also have here potter's pink, but you don't need that. This is optional. I also have purple. Okay, and this is burnt sienna, and then yellow, of course. So I have that primary red, a blue, yellow, and then I also have yellow ochre, burnt sienna, and viridian green. Okay, and then potter's pink is, of course, optional. Then you will need also a special paper, which is watercolor paper. Whatever paper you have, that's for watercolor. So whether it's the one that came with your kit or cotton paper is highly recommended. We will also need brush. I have here round brushes. One is size 10 while the other is size 6. This one is sable, synthetic sable, while this one is a synthetic mousse hair brush. So round brushes, this is optional, but if you have one, this is fine brush for when we paint the grasses later on the beach. And then of course, clean bucket of water. I have two for washing the cool and warm colors. We'll also need either a white pastel color, or if you have wash or poster color, we'll need the white for when painting the foam and the waves. You will also need washi tape for delineating the horizon and the sea section and the beach. Okay, if you don't have one, it's fine, but I like to use this one today so that I can demonstrate how you can get a straight horizon line, because horizons need to be straight. Okay, so for today, we'll start now because it's already 9:06. So let me just show you some of the paintings I did about ocean. I love this subject because I love going to the beach, right? So it's one of the places that's tranquil, that I like to hang out, especially when I'm stressed out. So yeah, so these are just some of the paintings I did of the ocean. This one is the earliest painting I did of ocean last year. Okay, this one was done using a tutorial by a YouTube watercolorist. Watercolorist that's on YouTube is Liani Annie. She's one of my favorite watercolorists. This one was done on a cotton paper. Okay, so hence the texture. It's very textured. Cotton tape papers are usually textured. Opo. And then this one is my painting of Pamunda Islands in Tanzania. Tanzania. No, yeah, Tanzania. This one I recently painted. This one is in Washington, okay, it's US. So I have painted this using a reference photo. This one is one of my recent photos. So this week I actually forced myself rather. I actually painted the ocean daily. So this one I painted just the other day. Okay. This one I painted last month. This is this is the moon, and this one is from one of the art books I have. This is by Makoto Shinkai. The original artist is Makoto Shinkai. So I did an art study of this particular painting of his. So I'm happy with the result. I was able to duplicate it. This one I did the other day also. And this one last Monday. Last Tuesday. Yeah. So we will be painting this one for today. Okay, I will show you the process. Okay, and this one is painting of the ocean with a figure. Okay, so there you go. So because our students are mostly beginners and young children, so we will be painting a simple scenery, simple seascape where you have a sky, a background of an island or an archipelago, the ocean, the beach, the sandy beach, and this grass right here. That's why we need this fun brush. But if you don't have this one, I can also teach you how to draw in the brush using the grass using this fine brush right here, size 6. Okay, I love this brush because it has pointy end, so it makes painting the grass so much easier. All right. So let me just check my phone because it pinged. All right. Alright, so someone asked if we have a painting session today. Yes, of course. So I have been doing this almost every Friday this month at 9 a.m. Feel free to join in anytime. I will be posting the video of this tutorial also on YouTube. So if you're not able to join in today because of some errands or household chores, it's totally fine. I just like doing this live also so that if you have questions, you can just ask in the comment section, so I will be able to address that. But please excuse me if I see your comments rather late because the iPad is at the level of my head, so I won't be able to see your comments agad-agad. I won't be able to see that, but do post your questions. I will be able to answer them siguro later. Okay, just a commercial break muna pala before I start with painting. Next month I plan to teach the kids this painting. I'm going to demo via Facebook Live pa rin how I painted this cherry tree by Makoto Shinkai. This was referenced from his artwork in this art book entitled A Sky Longing for Memories. Okay, so if you are a Studio Ghibli fan, I'm pretty sure you know this story. And then I will also teach the kids how to make their own arm party like this one, which is that I'm wearing. So it's a set of bracelets of varying sizes of beads with charm. I will teach the kids how to make one as well next month. So do attend my live classes if you want to join in. If you don't have beads yet, you can always find beads available in online stores in Shopee and Lazada. Okay, so let me just check my phone because someone sent me a message. Okay, all right, so let's proceed na. Let me just grab my reference photo so I don't get lost painting. So this is again what we will be painting today. Okay, the simple ocean. Alright, so first, let me teach you we will do 2 techniques in watercolor that we often use in painting this kind of subject. So one is dry brushing, the other is wet on wet. Okay, So for dry brushing, I will use the synthetic brush because I find that it's more effective in painting, um, in doing dry brushing. Okay, let me just grab my green just to show you what dry brushing means. Okay, I also forgot that you need a clean rag. Well, this is not clean, but I like using this. This is a katsa, my son's old nappy that I use for painting. So what you do when you're dry brushing is that you grab your color, you dilute it in water, and then you just do this. Okay, so you just get the excess water off your brush using a rug, or pwede rin yung kitchen towel, and then you just drag your brush across. Okay, so that's too dry. You just drag the color across and do that. Okay, if you notice, there are streaks. The color is tricky. There are portions na hindi nakulayan, so the white is showing, the white of the paper is showing out of that brush stroke. So this is dry brushing. So basically, it's just that your brush is partially damp, partially dry. That's why the colors make this streaky color. Okay, so that's what I did here. Din-dry brush ko yung sea para magkaroon siya ng mga white, para lang to show that the sea is sparkly. Okay, but if you were not able to do that, there's also a trick that I will teach you on how to do that using a pastel pencil, which is white. You can also use gouache for this, but I prefer this one, yung pastel, soft pastel, for this effect. Okay, and then another technique that we will be learning today is wet on wet technique, which is basically you just wet your paper first, get a color straight out of the pan, mix it here muna if you want, or you can also get the color straight from the pan and just drop the colors and watch the color spread. Okay, so this is wet on wet technique, as you can see. So while the paper is wet, you can see that the color is moving due to gravity. So if you drop the color on wet paper and allow the paper to move sideways, the colors will flow. Okay, so this is a wet on wet technique. We will use this technique for when we paint the sky. Alright, so the painting will be a little loose. Hindi siya masyadong illustrative, meaning hindi siya we will not paint it like we see it for real. We will let the colors, we will allow the colors to flow. Okay, using wet on wet technique. So this is a little loose. Okay, so we'll do that now. Okay, so in order to do that, let's first discuss muna din pala. Your horizon line should be straight, by the way. So in order to do that, we will use washi tape to delineate our sky and the sea, the horizon line that separates the sky and the ocean. Okay, so usually whichever is your main subject, yun dapat yung pinakamalaki or pinaka mo-obserbahan agad in your painting. So in this case, actually my main subject is the sea and the grass. Okay, so foreground, background lang din si sky and yung archipelago here. Alright, so for in that case, yung horizon line ko is slightly above the center. So if this is my paper, this is Baohong cotton watercolor paper, cold pressed. The center is on this right in this part, center. So medyo slightly above lang yung horizon line ko. So lalagyan ko siya ng washi tape to make sure lang that I will have a straight horizon line. Okay? There you go. So I'll grab my tiny scissor just to cut the paper. You can always tear na lang this one. Okay? And then let's wet the paper. So I'm wetting the paper using my large round brush, which is a size 10 Bonacci, Borshani Bonacci round brush. Okay, So again, I am just wetting the paper using clean water. Okay. So I want to make sure that the paper is damp, it's wet. Okay. I'm looking at it sideways like that to see if this part of the paper is already fully wet. Okay. If you are painting with me, please bear with me kasi mamaya baka tumawag yung courier ko. I need to leave for a few minutes lang naman just to retrieve my package. I'm expecting a package from Singapore. So today daw siya darating. I'm not sure what time, but in case lang my courier calls, so I will leave you just for a few minutes. Sa third floor lang naman ako, so I will run. Yes, tatakbo ko, di ba? Okay. So this is wet na. Now for the sky, I want to mix my ultramarine blue and a little bit of cerulean blue. Okay, a little bit of cerulean blue, and then a little bit of purple. There you go. But you can always use just the blue. Okay lang din na blue. I'm just trying to copy what I did here, which is basically a combination of purple, cerulean blue, and ultramarine blue. But you can always mix the color that you want for your sky. That's totally fine. And then I'll just drop the colors randomly around my sky area. Okay? So, and then I'm just letting this lift my color. So it's not as wet as I want. So what I'll do, I will spray some water. So this is the part where you use a spray bottle in case lang na hindi masyadong wet yung paper, as in my case. But if your paper is wet siya, your color should flow. And you will know that once you tilt your paper like this, and you can see that the color is, let me just do a close up for that. Okay. Here. So that's how you make your colors flow. You just tilt your paper like that. Okay. And then, since I'm not satisfied with the colors, I am going to darken this because I want an overcast sky, no? I will darken this color with a bit of gray. Payne's gray is what I call them. It's what they call them. Okay, Payne's gray. Okay, and I will just drop it in here where there are clusters of color. I will also grab Payne's gray, siya lang, and drop it in here. Randomly again. And then, I will let the colors flow again. And then pababa. Okay? So when you do that, you're giving an illusion that there are rain clouds above the horizon. And the white sections are actually the clouds. Okay? If you are already happy with the flow of your sky, okay, then you can already leave it alone like that. For me, I still want to add a little bit of here sa horizon, parang may part na may clear sky. I'm painting this based on my reference, but I'm also painting this according to what I have observed in the sky in my trips before to the ocean, where you have sections na clear yung sky, may sections na cloudy, may sections na minsan meron kang cumulus clouds or nimbus clouds. Okay? And then I'm letting the colors mix like so. There you go. So this is loose painting, wet on wet. This is wet on wet technique. Okay? If I'm not happy with color, I can always add some more while this is still wet. Again, you add the colors only if you're not yet happy with the colors. If you're happy na with your colors, then leave it, okay na siyang iwanan. Okay? So again, I'm doing this wet on wet. The paper is wet. Okay? And I'm just adding dobs of purple. If you think you lost your clouds, kasi gusto mo may konting clouds na white clouds, you can always grab a piece of paper, tissue, paper towel, and dab some clouds here. There you go. So okay yung effect niya, diba? Gusto ko yung play of color nito kasi may cloud ka na white, pero at the same time meron kang mga nimbus cloud. So parang nagbabadya yung panahon. Is what we call that in Philippines. Okay? In our country, diba? Nagbabadya yung panahon. So now, I'll leave this washi tape muna for now kasi medyo wet pa siya. Baka mag-flow yung color pababa. Okay? So while we're waiting for the sky to dry a bit, let's now proceed to wetting the paper for the sand. Here. For the sand, we will use yellow ochre. Okay, I love the yellow ochre kasi ito yung closest na color for sand. Okay? Pagka sunny yung beach. But since here, hindi naman talaga sunny yung beach natin, I will add a bit of raw sienna. Just to darken or to mute for a muted color. Okay, muted sand color. Usually, pag sunny yung sky, I use just the yellow ochre. But here, I am going to add a bit of burnt sienna in my palette. Okay, so let's just wet. So the sandy beach is going this way. For perspective, this is like that. We'll just wet the water with I will just wet the paper with clean water. Here. So again, we're doing this while the sky is still wet. So we'll wait for the sky to dry a bit before we add the peninsula. Okay, the peninsula is right here. Okay. Okay, so I'm adding water, just clean water on my paper. Okay. So I'm checking, yeah, it's already wet. So we'll add the color here. I'm using my size 10 brush. So for this, mas maganda talaga if you're going to use your bigger round brush. Okay? And then swipe the color on your sandy beach area. Okay? And then it's okay if hindi pantay yung kulay. Hindi naman kasi perfect si sand, diba? Usually. So okay lang yan. Okay? There you go. So that's your first layer of the sand. Okay. Hey Google, play ocean sounds for me. Alright. So now, try natin. Let's check if medyo basa pa siya. So here, so watercolor painting, you need to be patient. Then, kasi sometimes you cannot just add colors, layers and layers of colors while the paper is wet. So now let's go to first mixing our ocean color. So for ocean color, I am going to mix viridian green and ultramarine, French ultramarine blue. Okay, for the turquoise color, but add more blue. Kasi again, our scenery or the scene that we're trying to paint is sort of overcast siya, hindi ganun ka sunny. Okay, so here, so mas blue siya than green. Okay, so that's our ocean color. But if you want turquoise for your sea, you are welcome to do that. So I just showed you that to mix turquoise color, you can just use viridian and any blue that you have. But I used ultramarine blue, so green and blue to make turquoise. But here, this is more dominantly blue. Okay, with a little bit of viridian color. Okay, I think my my sky is already a bit dry. Let me just take off this washi tape. You can still use this, so you can just stick it on your table for now. And now let's paint the ocean. So here we will do dry brushing technique. And if you notice, our beach is like this. Naka-perspective siya. Okay, that is your vanishing point. So we will draw in the beach, or rather the water, with a stroke going this way. Okay, it's going this way. So how do we do that? Let's grab our ocean color, dab it a bit on our towel, and okay, it's too dry. Okay, I forgot na synthetic pala yung ginagamit ko. Okay, so I don't need to I don't need to dry it because synthetic, yun yung characteristic niya. Medyo siya, streaky yung kanyang. Let's just wet this further. Okay, if you notice, I'm really doing this on purpose, having this streaky na color. It's because I want our sky to be sparkly. Okay, so if you notice also, I'm careful not to touch muna the sky color because the colors will bleed if I do that. Okay? Later, we will add a darker shade for the deepest section ng ocean na makikita natin na visible. Okay? So when we're painting, we're already imagining also kung ano yung scenario, di ba? Okay? So that's your, okay, so medyo streaky siya. And then we'll grab, let's try to grab, I think medyo dry na siya, so let's grab French ultramarine blue. So I'm grabbing French ultramarine blue and adding this to our ocean color to make it darker. And then let's see, I hope hindi siya mag-bleed. We're just adding the dark section of the ocean. Okay. Oops, nasobrahan siya. Okay, let me just grab that mamaya. Mukhang hindi naman siya nag-bleed, so okay na yan. Okay, so that's your deep section of the ocean. Okay, so medyo lumag pa siya sa horizon line. I hope you didn't do the same mistake. Okay? If you're painting with me, be patient with this. Kasi talagang it takes some practice then to paint the ocean. And you really, it's best to paint this on plein air, meaning on site, para makita mo yung characteristic ng water. Okay? But since we still have this pandemic, we can't do that just yet. Okay, so that's our first layer of color, and you can see na may mga streaky parts, so that's the sparkly part of the ocean. Okay, so let's not touch that muna because medyo wet pa siya, and let's proceed to painting our sandy beach. Okay, I will add the second layer of the sandy beach by where is my yellow ochre? It's here. Okay, so yellow ochre here. I'm just darkening the color, and then a little bit of raw sienna. Okay, and then let's paint. Okay, so as you can see, pagka synthetic brush, meron talaga siyang streaky na stroke. Okay, so if I don't want dry brushing, I will not use this brush for that. I will use the other brush that I used previously in my live sessions. Okay, so here I just added second layer of our sandy color here. And then I will let that, I will mix blue, a green, viridian green into my into this ocean color, and allow that to mix wet on wet on our sand, just to indicate that these parts are shallow na. Okay? So yan, kasi sa ilalim ng water, meron ka pa naman talagang meron ka pa naman talagang sand. So we will mix that here. See how the colors are starting to form na. Na nagmi-mix sila, nagiging mas tawag dito, green. Okay. So that's your blue mixing with your sand color, which is yellow ochre. There you go. Okay. Then swipe that across. There you go. So that's your shallow section of the sea. Okay. Let's add another layer of blue here kasi masyado pa siyang light by using the same color pero yung dark lang na part ng color. And swipe that across here. Here as well. Okay. And let's darken yung malalim na part ng ocean sa horizon. At the horizon. There you go. See? So yan, may streaky na part siya. Mamaya, aayusin natin yan kasi masyado siyang diba? If you notice, masyado siyang linear. Okay? Hindi naman ganun ka-linear usually yung sparkle ng ocean. Okay? So for now, since medyo dry na yung ating sky, let us now draw the archipelago. Okay? So what we'll do is we'll just add the sand color, okay, and draw in, as in literal na draw in natin yung archipelago. Okay? It can be this section lang. Okay? Para din medyo wet yung section na to. Here. And then, we'll add Payne's gray. Okay? Payne's gray. Payne's gray and raw sienna. Ayan. Kasi we want the colors to be muted. Kasi hindi naman siya yung focus ng ating painting. And then we'll just drop the color here. Take note, hindi natin siya masyadong ginandahan or rather hindi natin masyadong dinetalye yung color ng archipelago because this is not the focus of our painting. The focus is this ocean. Kaya mapapansin nyo, halos parang nag-blend lang din siya sa sky in my previous painting. Okay. So here. Let me just add more Payne's gray into that and a little bit of green para lang to suggest na meron kang distant foliage or vegetation. So again, I added just a bit of green into my archipelago color. Archipelago yung tawag ko ha kasi I'm assuming na hindi siya island, okay? But if you want to call this island, then that's also fine. Okay, nag-bleed siya sa ocean color. So let me just get that by dabbing some tissue. Okay, so that's your archipelago. And then let me just add some more Payne's gray for the shadow color. Okay, there you go. Okay, just nag-bleed siya sa ocean. Actually, okay lang din siya kasi it's sort of reflection din. So, pwede rin naman. So, swipe some color here. Okay, sort of reflection. Pwede rin naman. Inaayos ko lang yung color. Okay? There you go. And then, masyado siyang sharp. Okay. Alright. So, now, let's darken our ocean color just below the horizon by adding more, but this time our consistency for the color is milky, mas thick siya para hindi siya masyadong, okay, there you go. Anak, are you buying water? Here you go. And then we'll just swipe it across here. Ayan, just to indicate that those parts are, kasi diba hindi naman regular yung depth ng ocean, so may mga sections na medyo malalim. Okay, and there will be sections that are shallow. And then we'll add a second layer of ocean color by grabbing viridian green and here. Okay, and then we'll just drag again across. Oops. Lagyan natin ng green. And then we'll just add the colors. Are you buying water na? Okay. So we ran out of water, so my son is will go out to buy water. Okay, here you go. So again, the reason why we have this tricky color is because we're using a dry brush technique for this. Okay. Alright. So let me just shift to my sable brush here, size 6, to just soften. I want to soften this color because it's too sharp by just adding water in my brush. Okay, so if you're painting with me, I hope you can still follow the process. I'm just softening the colors using wet brush kasi masyado siyang sharp and we wanted this to be a little bit loose. Okay, alright, there you go. I'm happy with that. So now let's paint the grass. For grass, first we'll use because the sand is yellow ochre, we'll use yellow ochre muna. Okay, here use the yellow ochre with a bit of rose sienna, so basically just the sand color, and then we'll use this fun brush to paint in the grass. Okay, and because the perspective is like this, we want our grass to be longer on this side but shorter on this side. Okay, we want our grass to be longer on this side and shorter on this side. I hope you got that so far. Okay, and then we just brush stroke going upwards. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, so medyo mahaba dito and then slightly long here and then medyo mas manipis na dito yung grass. Okay, I hope you're getting that. Do we have comments? Okay, we don't have comments yet. Alright, so that's yellow ochre for you. Okay, let me just do another layer of that, and then we'll do green. Okay, for green we'll just add, to mix green we'll just add blue into your yellow ochre or this the sand color here. So that's green for you, but let's add more yellow ochre here. Ayan, parang hindi maganda yung pagka-green. Let's see, let's try this. Little bit of brush. Tingnan natin. So parang olive green yung dating niya. Okay, so olive green. Let's just add some more. Okay, so that's your olive green. Okay, and we'll use the same brush for the grass. I'll show you later how to use your regular round brush to add the paint in your grass. Okay, okay, there you go. It's not the green that I want, but let this dry first para hindi naman siya because this is your first layers of color. So that's your background color for your grass. And let's proceed to checking if things are still wet or dry. So medyo dry na yung beach and still we have this tricky color here. That's our waters, parang sparkly color siya. I rather sparkly na section ng beach mo. And I noticed that the color of my sea here is not as dark as I want. So I will add more blue here. Let me just swipe a color across that. Okay. As you can see, I'm dry brushing this pa din. Okay, I'm using dry brush technique. Let me just add some more here. Okay, just to indicate that those sections are deep. Okay. There you go. And then let's soften that with a bit of water. Okay. If you've been to Palawan, these are the scenes that you will see in Palawan. Nakakamiss magbiyahe. As in, I wish this pandemic is over so we can travel. So I'm just dabbing in colors in areas na may mga white, medyo light yung color ha. So I'm just dabbing in the color very gently with my brush. Okay? Because I don't want to reactivate the first layer below. Okay? So this is a bit dry. So let's add the green grass color by mixing viridian green, a bit of yellow ochre, and a bit of burnt sienna, just to tame down, or rather mute yung color for a muted green, because viridian green, as you can see, is bright green. So we just want to mute down the color. Okay, we want a muted green for our grass. So we're mixing viridian green with a bit of yellow ochre and burnt sienna. Okay, there you go. And then with your small round brush, you can just do that. Very quick strokes upward. Okay, as you can see, it's still bleeding. So ibig sabihin, the paper is still slightly damp. So yan. So we will fix that with another layer of color kapag dry na yung ating paper. Okay, so as you can see, it's normal to make mistakes like this. That's how you learn. Okay, so it's still wet, as you can see. So we will add for now, since yung beach natin medyo dry na, we can add the foam of your of the beach, or rather the water, the foam, okay, of the ocean, by just dragging your pastel in the direction of the wave. So the wave is coming in like this, so we'll just swipe it across, very quick strokes using pastel. Okay, so when you do that, make sure that you understand first the direction of your wave. So it's coming in this way. Okay, and then add some here as well. Okay, and sometimes meron ding foam na naiiwan sa sandy beach, diba? So that's what I'm doing now. So again, I'm using Carbotello Stabilo white, but you can also use any white pastel that you have in your stash. Let me just grab my soft pastel by Mungyo that I bought recently for this kind of project. So if you don't have one like this, it's totally fine. I just bought this one because I like to also add I like to also do mixed media paintings. So here you can also use the whites from your soft pastel in creating those here you go. So medyo siya, malambot siya. It's like chalk. Yan. So you can do that as well if you want your sea to be sparkly. Ayan, just like I'm doing now. Ayan. See? Mabilis lang, diba? With soft pastel. But this is optional. You can also use a white poster color, white wash, or white watercolor. Just make sure that the first layer of watercolor on your painting is already dry before you do this, alright? So yan, this is very cheap. I think I bought it at $349, 24 colors, full size pastel. Yon. This is not a, a sponsored class, by the way. I bought this out of my own money. I'm just showing you the options when you're when you want to make your the waves to pop out, yung white ng waves, okay? If you want to do that, you can use white pastel, soft pastel for the option, okay? As option. Alright, so now that I've added the waves on my sea, let's now proceed to adding a layer of grass. Okay, so for this, I will make a darker grass color by adding more viridian, and then ultramarine blue, burnt sienna. Okay, so now it's darker and muted. Okay, so if you notice, hindi na ako nag-add ng yellow ochre. Okay, so now I have a darker green. That's for the foreground color. Okay, so here I'm using my round brush because some of you might not have this kind of brush, fan brush, but if you have, feel free to use that as well. Okay, wait, so may message ako. I'm waiting for my courier. And then you can also do random strokes for your grass, ha? Hindi laging straight. So you can just do that as well, just to add some movement in your grass. So medyo kunwari mahangin, o, diba? Actually, by just adding the waves, you're indicating that this is a high energy environment, meaning you have wind coming this direction and bringing the sea towards the shore. Okay, that's why your grass needs to reflect, your grassy area needs to reflect also that kind of dynamic or movement. Okay, so you can do that by adding a sort of movement in your grass by changing the direction of your brush stroke. Okay, and then I'm going to add Payne's gray into this grass color. Payne's gray to, ha, Payne's gray, para lang mas darker pa siya, para lang meron kang mga sections na dark. Okay, shadow sections ng grassy patch mo on your, yan, lalagay mo lang siya sa ilalim, but I'll teach you another technique that's helpful to make this look like grass. It's by using this technique. So you're just spreading the shadow color using the other end of your brush. So it's another technique that you can do when you're painting grass. Okay, remember, I also taught this technique when we painted the tree and ocean. Sorry, yung may part na may geology, where I taught the kids a basic of geology. For those new here, I actually taught geology while painting in one of our sessions. If you were not able to watch that, do go back to my previous lessons, Facebook live sessions, to see that. Okay, now I'm almost done with my grass. I just want to add, just to make this more colorful, I just want to add some yellow. So this is where you use your yellow. Sorry, my yellow is a bit stained with green because I painted this before. Hindi ko pa nalinisan yung aking palette. Okay, let me just grab my other yellow, which is cadmium yellow, just to add some sort of impression na you have weeds with flowers. Okay, para lang may konting kulay itong foreground natin. But this is not required. If you have painted this far, actually you're almost done na. Let me just grab my red. If you have red, grab that. If you don't have red, that's totally fine. And I'm just adding red here just to make the grass pop. You know, when you're adding red to your green, you make the color green pop. Okay? Here, because this is your foreground, it has to have a little bit more detail compared to other parts of your painting. There you go. So I've just added a bit of green, red and yellow on my grassy area para mag-pop si green. Okay, and then since meron kang sections ng sea mo, rather ng grassland mo na pwedeng tinatamaan ng light, there will be sections in your grassy area na merong highlights na almost white yung kulay niya. So I'm just adding white grass blades using my Carbothello. You can also use, if you have white pastel, soft pastel is very much preferred, okay, for this kind of highlights. Yan, as you can see, mas malambot siya and mas madaling lagyan ng highlights. You can also grab your soft pastel for that. There you go. So yeah, we're done. We did this class for 50 minutes or less. So here, so you have your sea na merong foam, and then you have your archipelago on the foreground and the sky. And then medyo weird lang archipelago kasi parang naputol siya doon. So let me fix that by dapat medyo siya, triangle yan. Okay, there you go. Okay, let me just fix that a bit. Weird niya eh. And then let me just soften that. But the painting is practically done. I'm just softening this kasi medyo nagdagdag ako ng kulay. Softening this color by brushing clean water on this using my round brush. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I'm done with this painting. I hope you were able to paint with me. Otherwise, feel free to watch this live video again later. I'm also downloading this live session from Facebook and will post this on YouTube. So here you go. This is our ocean for today. Yeah. And again, just to announce so that you have a class that you can look forward to in next month, I will teach the kids how to paint this cherry blossom tree next month, and I will also teach them how to make their own beaded arm party like this one I'm wearing today. Okay, we will not do exactly the same bracelet, but we will make something like this next month. Okay, so I'm done with my painting and I hope you like it. Don't forget to sign your artwork, okay? So you can sign the artwork using a pen or your watercolor. Okay, so I'll add my signature here in Japanese like usual. There you go. So yeah, I'm done with the painting. I hope the kids were able to paint with me. Or please, if you're done with your painting, or if you're going to paint this later today or later within the week, do post your kids' output in the comment section. I really love to see those outputs. It encourages me to teach more in the class. To teach more class in the future. Okay, so I hope you like this session. I hope you learned something from this, and I hope by committing some mistakes, we're able to learn from those mistakes as well. And I hope to see you next week for another session, painting session. And I'm not sure what subject I will be painting next week. Wait, let me check. I think I posted that. Okay, let me just show you. Hindi ko makita yung pin ng aking phone. Wait. Ano ba? Ang gulo-gulo ng phone ko. Pakita ko lang yung video para malaman nyo ano yung class na it's not on this phone. Anyway, just go back to the announcement I made early this week para malaman nyo kung ano yung mga class in store for you for June, for next month, okay? So with that, I end the session. Stay safe and healthy in this pandemic, and I hope that the painting session will help you cope with it, okay? Have a nice day, everyone, and bye.